on.
Running the big guns, the big arms out here. Imagine sending your kid on the school bus and they pass out from heat. Watch this.
I am passed out on the bus. Stand her. Why can't we just open the window? Because your alarms will go off.
Frightening. Students forced to ride home on a sweltering school bus in Washington State last week. The little girl that passed out, though, is okay. But the truth is that most parents think it's okay to leave their kids in their car even just for a few minutes. Joining us now with what you need to know as the Vice President of kidsandcars.org is Susan Ariema. Nice to see you this morning. So
Thank you
welcome
for having
to the show.
me.
This story is frightening. Parents, I think that's okay. It's only a few minutes.
Oftentimes that's what they think, and the reality is, even with the windows ajar, in a matter of minutes, the car can heat up the interior to 125 degrees. 80% of the heating takes place in the first 10 minutes. So if you leave a child just for a few minutes, it can be fatal.
Is this a big problem? I mean, are there a lot of deaths from this every year, or
we see an average of about 37 children per year dying in a hot car. And this year to date, we've already had 9, compared to last year we had only had 3 by this point.
It's terrible. Okay, you brought, what is this down here, this little baby carrier?
So we want to talk about the fact that the baby should always be in the back seat, and that's where you are, that's where you're putting your baby. But the problem is, sometimes the baby's out of sight, out of mind, and we've had parents that have a failure of the brain's memory, where their autopilot has taken over and allowed them to drive all the way to work and failing to drop off the baby. It's very hard to believe, but psychologists have studied it, and it's a true phenomenon.
Okay, so we have some tips to make sure, like if you're walking by a car, you see a baby in the car, no one's around, it's a hot day, what should you do?
Exactly. Well, we always encourage parents, or passersby rather, that the first thing you want to do is call 911. You want to have emergency personnel on the scene. But if you feel the baby's in distress, they're lethargic, unresponsive, very red and sweaty, then you may want to take matters into your own hand. So we have a tool that I'm going to demonstrate for you.
And there's a new law.
Several states have passed laws that cover a passerby, protect them from any legal ramifications if they do break a window, to free a child. And there are a few states that are proposing laws, including New York State, that will allow a passerby to take action.
All right, how do we do this?
So we want to take our precautions. We want to cover our eyes. If you don't have safety goggles like you and I do, a pair of sunglasses works just as well.
Yeah, not everyone has these in their back pocket.
I just happen to have these today.
Just in case. But if you do, put them on for today's event.
If you don't have gloves, you could take a T-shirt or another article of clothing and wrap your hand to protect your hand.
Okay.
And we're going to be using a tool called the Rescue Me tool. It's a spring-loaded punch tool. It fits on your keychain. It can be used if you're trapped inside your vehicle. It also has a seatbelt cutter. And it can be used if you're passing by and see a child or even a pet who's in distress in the vehicle.
All right, so here's a car. Let's fire it up.
So we want to make sure that you go closer to one of the corners of the window, because that's a weaker place on the window. Okay. And anyone can do this. You don't need to be a big, strong guy. You're going to just press it against there and give it a punch.
Holy smokes.
And then you remove the rest of it. And you always want to do this in the window that is farthest away from the baby, so that no glass gets onto your child.
Wow, that's amazing. So what is that called again?
So this is called the Rescue Me tool.
Rescue Me.
On our website, kidsandcars.org. If you make a donation, you win one of these.
Wow, awesome. Sue, great to see you this morning. Great tip.
Thanks for having me.
Guys.